I'm going to Kansas City. If I come, I come, I come, I come. I'm going to Kansas City.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Choppin' It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver.
Every Tuesday we drop a new episode. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Choppin' It Up with the Cleavers. You can check us out most places you get your podcast. So there was an interesting story last week that caught my attention. Two men who were a part of the January 6th riot, insurrection, whatever you want to call it, were sentenced to 44 months in prison for assaulting a law enforcement officer. They pepper sprayed a law enforcement officer. And here's what's funny. While they were being read their sentence for 44 months, they started crying out loud. Should we have sympathy on these people? Is that their way of showing remorse?
I just don't understand how you could break into a building, literally break into the building, threaten to kill the vice president, Nancy Pelosi, and whoever else, going there all tough and talking about saving the country. And then when it comes time to face your punishment, you start weeping like a child.
So
weeping like a baby.
So
we're not going to give you, are you going to give these names, or you don't want to give these insurrectionists?
Forget the names. I don't care. Two men. I mean, the story's out there. They started crying. Which is ridiculous. I mean, you break into the Capitol. What do you think is going to happen? Now, I do have to say, let me say this. I know there were some people that went to the Capitol thinking it was going to be a peaceful protest. But there is something called mob mentality. So they get down there, other people are acting a fool, and so you join in. And you've seen it. You've seen stuff like that happen over and over again. The mob mentality rules, and people just go with what's going on. I don't know if that was the case with these two men. They pepper sprayed law enforcement officer.
That seems a little
So I'm
extreme.
not going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They're 29 and 30, so they're not.
They weren't
not kids. They should know better. I mean, 19 and a 9-year-old should know better. To be honest with you,
you would think. But a lot of those, they like we talked about last week. I mean, Jesus wanted them to do that.
According to them.
Yeah, I mean that's what they believed. They were doing what was right. But here's they said they were doing what's right. But these aren't the first people that were sentenced. Others are claiming that they didn't know and they're sorry. And even the guy that had the big crazy hat and the trident, whatever he had, he claimed insanity.
He claimed insanity.
Yeah, man. Well, he didn't.
Well, I guess he would have to.
Not necessarily insanity, but he was like, he was under a lot of pressure, some craziness. So, they say they believe it. They don't believe in it that much, because if you believe in it, it's like, yeah, I did it, and I'll take the punishment, whatever it is that comes with it.
Yeah, give me liberty or give me death.
No.
was the line. I think that they should have been.
Well, when they get 44 months, knowing they're not going to serve all 44 months anyway,
and they start crying,
and they're jumping up. I wonder how long they'll serve. But there's some others that have been sentenced, and then I was reading an article that a lot of folk still haven't been charged in that riot. I guess
you mean
it's
like
impossible.
The president?
Yeah, him too.
You talking about people who
who
actually might get a chance to go to prison.
Yeah, because Donald's not.
It seems like they should get more than 2 years for pepper spraying and breaking into the Capitol. I would think that sounds like about 12 years.
Yeah. Well, if they were black, they probably would have gotten life. Because they would have called it attempted murder or something. But they said the president told them to go. That's the defense a lot of them tried to use. The president told us to go. The president told us to get there.
And he did. But he did tell them to go.
They're
not lying. They're not just coming up with something. No. He did tell them to go.
Yeah.
He did tell them to do this.
He did.
So, in some way, the president is telling the country, hey, you need to do this. Joe Biden telling everybody to go get the shot, wear a mask. Should he be put in prison I mean, should he be held accountable for? I mean, people are listening to him. He says this. People listen to him. He's the president. The president says, "Go march on the Capitol." They're taking our freedom away.
He said a little stronger than that. He didn't say march on the Capitol.
Well, what?
It was a lot stronger.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. He needs to take accountability, and because people listen to him. I mean, Americans are supposed to trust the president, whether you voted for him or not. You should at least have some type of belief that he wants what's best for the country.
Yeah, I mean that's gone out the window.
He has to take accountability for that. I mean, they're right. He did tell him to go. So if you look at it from that standpoint, then yeah, they only deserve 2 years because the president did tell them to go there and pepper spray.
Unfortunately, the one who told them, the one who started it all, of course, nothing's going to happen to him. He's going to keep on living and then possibly run in 2024.
Yeah, I think he may be announcing on NPR. They were talking about it. It may be an announcement. We don't know before the midterms. We're going to see. I mean, maybe there's probably a few people telling him, hey, man, maybe you don't need to do this. You need to just ride off into the sunset. But obviously, he's not going to do that. He's not going to ride off
because
into
even
the
running
sunset.
for office is going to be cause problem. Even if he doesn't win, running as president and all of the evil that that comes out of his mouth. I mean, it's going to cause more harm just him running for office. Crazy.
Yeah, because if he doesn't lose, I mean, if he loses, I mean, what is he going to tell his people to do?
Yeah, they were stolen again.
Yeah, but I think this time I don't think as many people would listen to him because they see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully.
They see that he wasn't with them and he's ready to throw them all under the bus.
But yeah, but do some not have the intelligence to know? Okay, he told us to do it when we got in trouble. There was no sticking up for us. Do they have the intellectual capacity to connect the dots and say, well, maybe he's not the best person to be in office?
No, because they want to believe it. It doesn't matter if it sounds realistic.
Yeah,
they want to believe it. Yes. And plus, all he's doing is saying things that they already believe.
True.
And so
that's all it
is. The president of the United States, who's trustworthy, he's the highest elected official in the country, most powerful man in the world. He's just saying what they already believe. So it's not going to take much pushing to get them to believe in everything that he's saying. I mean, you know, I saw a guy riding around on a motorcycle yesterday with a gun in on his waist on a motorcycle.
It's his God-given right
with the American flag and Trump.
My God-given, man. There's a lot of Trump worshipers over there on in what do they call it, Knobtown, Nolan Road and 350.
Oh yeah,
where they used to set up Donald Trump shrines, sell flags. I mean, they truly do worship this man, thinking he's the coming Messiah, which says to me, folk, they reading a different kind of Bible. But they do worship him. But these people are sentenced. They cried. I thought it was crazy.
But there's no video of it, is there?
No.
Unfortunately.
No, because you would watch it over and over again.
Yeah, I would.
It'd be funny. You're supposed to be hardcore.
I would play the audio.
I wonder what kind of prison they're going to go to.
These men crying.
What kind of prison are they going to go to? It's like, yeah, we saw y'all crying as they coming in.
Yeah.
Too late to be tough now. We saw it.
Yeah, if you want to be tough, sometimes you got to be tough all the times. I hate to tell you.
It's the way it is.
It's a bad start to going to prison. You go in crying. It's not a good look. I'm just telling you. I've never been, but from what I hear, the movies and the TV shows I've seen. I don't think you should be crying in public. It may not be good for you. So, good luck. Well, not really.
Maybe they'll go to one of those all black and Latino prisons, talking about that Proud Boy stuff.
You talking about all black and Latino prison.
Well, that's
prison.
all of it.
It's prison.
Yeah, that is true.
It's just prison. I mean, most people in there are black and Latino. So
no, yeah, you're right. You're right on that one.
Which is so I think it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah,
and we're not wishing it upon them.
It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. Something we missed, didn't cover last week that happened 2 weeks ago, but it's classic stuff. I don't know if there's anything better. There are some very smart people in this country. You have people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and then you have people like Herschel Walker.
I mean, that's a big contrast. You can't go from...
I'm saying Neil deGrasse Tyson, Herschel Walker. If you want to know about the climate, if you want to know about the world, check with Herschel Walker. So I'm going to play this clip.
Just play this clip. If you have not heard Herschel Walker explaining...
Oh, I got to have a commercial first.
Oh, come on.
So,
don't give them advertisement.
No, they're not.
Herschel Walker is explaining climate control and what we need to do to...
Our energy starts its downfall because we need energy for everything.
all the way.
You all know that? And they were talking about the Green New Deal. You know, climate change. I'm going to help y'all with that real quickly.
Teach us.
I'm going to do it in the Wrightsville way.
Teach
so you can understand what I'm saying.
I want to hear it.
We, in America, have some of the cleanest air and cleanest water of anybody in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
So what we do is we're going to put from the Green New Deal millions or billions of dollars cleaning our good air up.
Huh?
So all of a sudden China and India ain't putting nothing in there cleaning that situation up.
What the?
So all that bad air is still there. But since we don't control the air, our good air decided to float over to China, bad air. So when China gets our good air, their bad air got to move. So it moves over to our good air space. And now we got to clean that back up.
How, Herschel? That's not a comedian. I know you heard people laughing.
Yeah, it's
But
not a
that's not a
stand-up
comedian.
bit.
That is
The solution.
Senator, hopefully
Or
not
candidate.
Senator, the candidate from Georgia, Herschel Walker.
So our clean air is going to go over to China and India.
Okay.
And what happens is, this is basic science,
Yes,
man.
obviously, Herschel is
Their
a very intelligent
dirty
man.
air is going to come over to the United States. And so what are we going to do, y'all?
Is that what he was saying? I thought he was saying our good air is going to go over there and it's going to clean up their air.
And no, it's not. You see, let me tell you what your problem is. You're trying to make sense of it.
But that,
You think it makes sense.
I don't think it makes sense. I think that's what he meant. He didn't mean, because how is their air? I mean, well, I don't know
what
how
he
our
said-
air is going to
listen,
go over
listen,
there. Okay.
He's saying what I got from it.
Okay, this is what.
And I'm not a physicist or environmental engineer like he is.
Okay.
What he was saying is, we'll put millions or billions of dollars to clean our air up.
I thought he said our air was already clean.
He did.
Okay.
But we're still putting more in there to clean
it up.
And
then
then
what
it's going to
happens?
go over to China and India. And because our air is over there, their air is going to come over to us. And then we're going to have to clean up that air all again, because they're not sending us clean air. They're sending us bad air.
Well, how come we can't just keep our own air? Man, I really wish I could ask Herschel Walker a question.
What would
ladies
you-
and gentlemen,
okay.
we're going to reach out to Herschel Walker's campaign, and we're going to try to have him as a guest.
No, listen, you asked the question. I'm Herschel Walker.
Okay.
I read it. Okay. Ask
Mr.
me a question.
Walker, thank you for
Yes.
joining
Yes.
the
I'm
podcast.
glad you could be with
Let
us.
me talk. Okay. All right, Mr. Walker, come on, be serious.
All right. Go ahead.
Mr. Walker, I heard. Thank you for being on the show, Mr. Walker.
Yes. Yeah. Glad to do it.
Come on, man. Quit playing.
All right, go
Watch it.
ahead. Go.
Mr. Walker, can you break down your clean air theory?
Yeah, it's very simple. You see, we have clean air, and the air moves. So when we're gonna put the particles up in our air, it'll clean it. You can eat off that air. But because air moves, it's gonna go over to China and India. And because they don't clean their air, it's gonna come over here, and then we're gonna have to deal with dirty air. Does that, you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next question.
The next question is, how many concussions did you receive in the NFL?
I read this. I read it. It's in the
Herschel
Bible,
Walker, man.
It's in the Bible.
Seriously, we need to try to get Herschel on the show. See, I'm gonna reach out to his campaign. I mean, we could probably reach out to his campaign. Hey,
Well,
we're a media outlet, and we wanted to just.
But we're not a media outlet in Georgia. We can trick them.
Yeah, I mean that's my point. I think we can trick him into trick his son. Now his son confronted a singer. What was her name? Kalia.
I didn't know he confronted.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, he confronted the singer.
Look it up real quick. So they were at a Starbucks, and supposedly this singer, and I can't pronounce her name, is Khli or something like that. So he said something. Oh, she's a bad person.
Singer Kalani
Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
at Starbucks.
Herschel Walker, and there's actual video of this. Herschel Walker's son confronts her at her car, talking about she's a mediocre singer. Of course, social media is the king, so they looked on his sub page, and I guess a few years ago he was saying that she was such a great singer. Now, you see it right there.
Yeah.
So he confronts her. It's a man confronting a woman.
Because
she said something about him in Starbucks, apparently to the Starbucks counter. Something about this guy is a jerk or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. Something infantile. But, he knew to approach somebody like that. I'm sure that he gets people talking about him and his daddy, his dumb daddy, all the time, but he doesn't confront them. I mean, if you see the picture of this dude, I'm sure if it was me or you, he wouldn't confront us. He wouldn't confront a man.
So he's going to confront her because she says something. And I read his tweet, like he's tired of these fake woke people. A lot of folks, they like to throw that around, the woke. They're woke.
Yeah, you need to go read a book to your daddy.
Man, he needs to read. I mean, because I've seen some of his stuff. He gets a lot. He's outrageous.
Yeah, and
confronting people, man. I'm telling you
that's the new thing. But you have to be
wrong.
careful. Yeah, it could.
It may not go well for you.
Yeah.
Don't think you can just run up on some people and it's going to be all right. I mean, he did, but now he looks silly.
Well, yeah. His father is taught him. Well, I don't know if his father taught him anything, because his father is, Herschel. Gee whiz, Herschel.
He could possibly be in D.C.
I mean,
yes, I have a new bill.
It's called the Clean Air Bill, whatever. I mean, please, if we have anybody from Georgia watching this show,
get out and campaign against him.
Please do not vote for this man. And I would advise you to campaign against him.
Campaign for Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, please.
My goodness.
Just have them both say one sentence.
I wonder if they've had a debate. That would be interesting. Raphael Warnock has a PhD, and he's preached at St. James for me. But that would be very interesting to see them in a debate. But I bet you that you couldn't convince Herschel that he was wrong.
No.
On certain issues. I mean, he's probably thinking he's dropping knowledge.
Yeah, and just these woke people are
but
bad.
It gives everybody.
I mean, somebody from that audience should have said, "Hey, Herschel, man, come on, read a book."
They're not gonna say that. I mean, he still looks like he could play football, man.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna say that.
Well, his campaign manager, "Hey, Herschel, maybe you need to drop out."
They're not gonna do that because they figure once he gets in, he'll be the puppet. I mean, they'll tell him stuff. Hey, yeah, you got a meeting at McDonald's. Go over here and eat. And meet it. He's just meeting with some made up folk.
But he has to vote for stuff, though.
They're running for him. They tell him what to do.
He's just meeting with the Hamburglar while somebody in his office is really handling all the real business.
Yeah. I mean, they're setting fake meetings up for him. while the other people are meeting. Because what you gonna say, Herschel? Sir, I think you should drop out of the race. Why?
Because you're ignorant.
You can't say that. Oh. Look at him. Remember? Don't forget it.
Oh yeah, he can hurt you.
So you have to say something. So let's try it again. Mr. Walker, we think you ought to drop out of the campaign.
I would say because you would serve the people better by not running. You serve the people better by.
But Jesus told me to run. He did say God. He was called by God.
Well, you can't beat that. I mean,
I know that. That's how you end the conversation. God said, "Oh, it's over."
Yeah, you can't beat that. But I would tell him, I think the public would enjoy you just running, just run down the field. Let's go to a track and let's watch you run and pick up some weights. Show your athletic ability, but don't try to run the country. Listening to President Trump.
Because that's who endorsed him.
The thing that bothers me is that he always tries to act like he's saying something deep. I mean, he's really talking like, and then, he's trying to explain like he's saying something deep. I mean, that makes me mad, man.
Makes you mad that he thinks he's saying something deep. He's dropping knowledge.
Like he's saying something deep.
Well, in his mind, he is dropping knowledge.
I know, but
his thing is, if you don't get it, that's not on him. It's on you.
And that's why I want somebody to tell him, hey, you're not very smart. I just want somebody to tell him, man.
You said, hey, reading is fundamental. You don't say you're not smart.
Reading
is fundamental, and maybe you should do more of it. I mean, that's how you get around to it without him choking you. Without him choking you.
And there ain't nothing you can do because you can't run away, of course. Obviously,
he'll catch you. He'll catch you.
That's just going to make him even more mad.
Yeah. So that's a lot going on. Folk in Georgia, register to vote. Don't vote for Herschel Walker.
Yeah, he's a Trump candidate.
He's a Trump candidate. And even if he wasn't, I don't know that he understands government well enough to make any positive changes.
I don't think he understands anything except football and making kids.
Yeah, he does understand that. And maybe denying some of them too. Yeah, he might understand that too. So some good news are some news, the two men crying, Herschel Walker. Now for comedians, let's be real. I mean, there are a lot of comedians I'm sure would love for Herschel Walker to be in the news every week.
Keep on doing it. But I haven't heard any comedians coming out yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Ev had a little skit. Our brother did a skit with Herschel Walker of some of the things that he says.
I've heard some folks say some things. I haven't watched any of the night shows to see if it's in. Well, I'm sure somebody has.
Okay, I'm tripping. Yeah, I know Stephen Colbert has been making fun of him, and I think Jimmy Kimmel has. But I guess I was talking about the comedians doing stand-up specials.
Oh, it's coming. I mean, because this is kind of new, him saying all this stuff. So I would imagine that it's coming sometime soon.
And Saturday Night Live needs. I mean,
yeah, it's they're in the off season.
Yeah, I know.
So Saturday Night Live would have
I'm sure they would have had fun with this. Keenan,
him playing Herschel Walker. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
But it'll be gone by then, won't it?
Yeah. Well, no, they come back in September.
Yeah.
Election in November.
Yeah. So
it'll be ramping up.
Yeah.
So they'll have some tidbits.
Herschel Walker. All right.
They should before it's all over.
Yeah.
Another thing that came in the news: the 2022 Emmy nominations, and one of the things I paid attention to. Best drama series. Of course, there's a whole lot of stuff, but I'm paying attention to the best drama series because I've seen a lot of those. How many of these have you seen? So it's Yellow Jackets on Showtime, Succession on HBO. Have you watched that? No. Succession is good. You need to watch that. Stranger Things on Netflix. Squid Game. You watch Squid Game?
Yeah, that's a limited series.
But they're coming back. They're coming back. Because it was so popular, they're making them do a second season. It was supposed to be over, just that one season, but it was so big, now they're doing another season.
Yeah, mess it up.
So Squid Games, And then there's Severance on Apple TV. I haven't seen that. Ozark on Netflix, Euphoria on HBO, and Better Call Saul on AMC. And there's some good ones on there. I know Succession is good. Ozark, it was good. Last season wasn't one of the better seasons. You know what happens with some of these series, man? They sit out too long. So Ozark played, and those first 3 seasons, they were good, and it was like 2 years or even longer.
I kind of lost interest after that.
It came back. It wasn't as strong.
Stranger Things does the same thing.
Yeah.
They wait to. I haven't even watched the new season of Stranger Things yet. It's been, 6 years since the last one?
I don't know. It's been a long, long time. So
Squid Game, I watched that off top.
Yeah, no, that
I
was
don't
good.
see how they. Well, I guess they can keep it. It's going to be hard to top that.
Yeah, because they gave it away who was running it. But they offered what Netflix did. They threw money at them, at the creators, because it was supposed to be over. That was supposed to be it. From what I understand, that's happened with several Netflix shows, that it was supposed to be over, and then because it was so popular, Netflix throws a bunch of money at them. They come up with another season. That always doesn't go well. When you had an ending in mind, but the money comes out, now now it's supposed to be more. But one of the big stories about the Emmy nominations is Quinta Brunson, a black woman, creator of the Abbott Elementary. Haven't you watched that?
Yeah.
She was nominated. She has 3 nominations. First time a black woman nominated, 3 different categories.
She just kind of came up out of, I know she's been around. She's been a writer for a while, but she just kind of blew up, suddenly,
Yeah, she had
one day she's working in obscurity, and the next day she's a superstar. But, there's also a group I read yesterday suing her,
Said she stole
saying
the
that
idea.
she stole the idea and just made it an inner city school, which, I'm sure every successful human being on the planet has been sued once they do something. I'm sure every singer-songwriter. I remember there were a group of 3 different guys that said that they wrote L Boogie, Lauryn Hill's album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Said that they wrote.
Good. Everybody wants a piece of it.
Said that they wrote that. So people are always going to be jumping in. Maybe it's true. I don't know.
But here's the thing. There are several shows that share the same concept.
Yes.
So unless they're doing story for story, I don't know how that works. Because you can go down the line. Look at every sort of scary movie. It's the same concept. Yeah, same the people concept. Are isolated somewhere. The phones don't work. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's either that or isolated. Yeah. Isolated, or they're being they have a demon.
Yeah, this is like a haunting. That's something, but like things like The Thing or Alien.
Slasher.
Yeah.
It's basic. Yeah, it's a basic format, and the TV shows are the same way. I was watching the new Fantasy Island the other day, and it takes the format of these new shows. It's the lady is the great niece of Mr. Rourke.
Okay.
And
I haven't even seen that.
Yeah, I just saw one episode. It's not.
Have you seen the movie Fantasy Island?
Yeah, that was horrific.
I was like,
man, I was mad about that because I like the TV show so much.
Because I'm like, how did they come up with this?
But yeah, the new Fantasy Island, that's not going to remind you of the old Fantasy Island. It's going to remind you of these new TV shows and how the personalities of the characters are, and the personality, the interaction with each other is not as authentic, I think, as the old TV.
Yeah,
well, at least the network television.
Yeah. So she's being sued, but I didn't read all the details of the lawsuit, but I don't know if you can sue somebody over concept.
Well, you can sue them, but
you can sue anybody for anything. But again, if the storyline, she's not taking storylines. It's all.
I wonder why they're suing now that she's been nominated for 3 Emmys.
That's why.
I'm sure the money's big for the second season.
I'm sure it is. They want some of that bag.
After the first show, how come we didn't hear about this? The first episode, we should have been hearing about this.
You would think.
Yeah.
But the first, it wasn't big. I mean, like you said, the show came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's a good show. So I'm glad she's doing well. Glad to see a black woman. Hopefully she'll win all 3. I mean, that would be a record. Being nominated is one thing, but winning. Now, if she doesn't walk away with any, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would imagine that show is so good and so popular that, I mean, it's going to have to at least win one. I don't know what the best new show, I don't know if that's the category, but I couldn't imagine it not losing, not winning in that category for best new comedy, if that's even a category. But
yeah, I'm sure it has to be. But yeah, so looking forward to that. That doesn't happen until September. So, but just wanted to mention that huge honor for the creator of Abbott Elementary, Quinta Brunson. I think I'm saying her name right, Quinta Brunson. So just congratulations to her. So because of all that, we thought our top 5 today would be top 5 favorite TV dramas.
that's a hard. It
is
very hard.
We might have to come back and do something else with TV dramas because there were some things I had to leave out. Yeah, so we'll do some other stuff with TV dramas. So this is just like, I guess, part 1. But favorite TV drama. I went first last time. So let's see what you got.
This was, like I said, it was very hard. So number 5, I guess I'm gonna have to put. Man, I'm gonna have to go ahead. I'm gonna put Fantasy Island number 5. We grew up watching that every Saturday. It was a great show. I mean,
yeah, it was.
Got all into it. The stories were different every week. Mr. Work, Tattoo. Like I said, the new show. Fantasy Island is not good. I mean, well,
it ain't gonna last long. Yeah, maybe they like it.
But for our generation, it's not gonna bring that back.
But the thing about shows now, because there are 1,000 different shows. Back then there weren't, so it's gonna have to be good.
Yeah.
Or it gets dropped a lot faster than it would have in the olden days. It's too much competition.
Yeah. So Fantasy Island, I'm gonna have to put that number 5. Number 4, man, these are tough. I'm gonna go ahead and put New York Undercover.
All right.
I don't know if it should be higher, but New York Undercover was a moment in television. First time you saw, I guess the hip hop cop, hip hop detectives,
a black man and a Latino, young.
They dressed like the hip hop with the hip hop fashion, the slang. They had a lot of rap artists on there.
Yeah,
the stories were relatable to that generation. So I mean, it was kind of a moment in television. It didn't last a whole lot of seasons, maybe 4, 5 seasons, something. But it was a moment in television. Great show, New York Undercover, soundtrack, everything. It was a really good show. Number 3, and see, there's so much that I'm leaving off that I just hate. I'm gonna go ahead and put number 3. I'll go ahead and put The Wire.
All right.
The Wire, great show. I mean, everybody out there, I'm sure, has watched it, seen it, heard it.
To.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great crime drama from the perspective of the criminal and the law enforcement agency.
So you talk about, a few weeks ago, you talked about you didn't know what's his name was British. I didn't know Idris Elba. Watching him on The Wire, British. He was Stringer Bell. And so it was years later. I saw him. He was doing an interview. I'm like, "What? Stringer Bell? He's from the UK."
Christian Bale. I didn't know he was.
Yeah,
it took me years before I knew he was British. But yeah. So that's number 3. Number 2, man.
I know it's tough. It may be too broad. We're gonna have to come back and clean up some stuff.
So and this is, and if you ask me next week, it's probably gonna be different. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and put Law and Order SVU. I've probably seen every episode, the first 20 seasons. I haven't watched it lately, but probably every single episode from season 1 to 20. The only thing I'm disappointed with SVU is they never broadened Ice-T's character, and maybe because his acting chops weren't there, but he's the only one that you didn't really get to know his personal life and all that. They didn't go into depth with his character. I mean, it's pretty much the same from beginning to end, but he still did a great job. So that's the.
Yeah, I haven't seen every episode of that, but I've seen a lot of them. I watch it. That's my travel. Whenever I'm on a plane, I watch.
And really, all the other Law and Orders. Now, see, and this is what was that, number 2? And see, now number 1. I mean, it's so hard because I really like the show called Deadwood, a Western show on HBO years ago, and I really like Dexter. Was a good show.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
And my number 1 show, I'm gonna have to say, is Breaking Bad. I would have to say that's the number 1 for now. You ask me next week, and then maybe it is Deadwood, or The Wire. But yeah, Breaking Bad, a great show. Caught your attention from the very first episode. just grabbed your attention and kept it all the way through. That's one of the shows that didn't let you down at the end. I mean, the very last episode was great show. Very first episode was great. Very last episode was great.
That's rare in the show.
So that's my top 5. Like I said, there's a lot that was left off. X-Files was a show that I liked a lot. I actually liked Bonanza. It's a corny show, but Bonanza was a good show. The Cartwrights.
You watch Yellowstone? I'm gonna have to start watching that.
I just started getting into Yellowstone.
I'm gonna start watching that.
Telling me to watch it. That's a good show. That's Bonanza, except way more serious and a touch of Dallas. Kind of that family.
Now Dallas was a good show. It's not on my list, but I Dallas.
Good show, yeah. There's a lot of good shows. So what's your top 5? I mean, that's
all right. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna have to do some more with TV dramas and maybe break it down to different categories. So because there are a lot that are not on here that were good shows. Number 5, I have X-Files, Agent Scully, and Agent Mulder. Researching all of these mysterious things, alien life. Of course, Mulder believed in it. Scully was skeptical.
The scientist, the doctor.
She needs proof. So that was good. Another one, old school, not real old school, but I watched, and I still watch. I watch reruns today, In the Heat of the Night.
Yeah, I've seen every episode of that too.
Howard Rollins as Virgil Tibbs and Carol O'Connor as Chief Gillespie, and then Carl Weathers came in later.
Yeah, later,
and he was the chief
because Rollins had a drug problem.
Had a drug problem. Yeah. I watched that. That was a good show, In the Heat of the Night. Yeah, because you were seeing different characters. Carol O'Connor, who I think was one of the executive producers.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he made sure that there was representation. Even later, he got a Latina woman on there, black woman. So he did a good job.
Yeah, if you look at it, I mean, especially for that time, it was probably the most diverse cast on television at that time.
Absolutely. So that's my number 4. It was good. Number 3, I have The Wire, HBO. I mean, on Sundays, that's what I was watching.
Great show.
Got to see the Barksdales and Omar. Everybody was scared of Omar. He was no joke.
Omar's coming.
Michael Kenneth Williams, God rest his soul. He did a great job as Omar. Number 2, I'm going with one. Even though I had some issues with the last few episodes, it was still a great series up until that point, and that's Game of Thrones.
I've never seen one single episode.
Battle over the 7 kingdoms. Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons. I mean, she was cold-blooded on that show. So that was good. I mean, it was what happened was it went all. I forgot how many seasons. Then it ended. Then it went like 3 or 4 years. Then they came back that last season. From what I understand, they had different writers. So that last season it didn't pop off like the others. But up until that last season, man, it was good stuff. You ought to watch it. Wild stuff. Battle over the 7 kingdoms. The Iron Throne. So number one you talked about. I put it number one. Again, like you said, if you ask me next week, it's going to change because there are a bunch that are left off the list. But I have New York Undercover simply because it was a landmark show. You had Malik Yoba, young black man, and Michael De Lorenzo, a Latino, young, representing our generation. They made the connection on the street, but what made them good cops. And of course, the music that they were playing with it, the guests that they had on there, like
Landmark
you said, the
television
hip hop
show
clothes.
for our generation.
It was a good show. Good show. I mean, because you know, people talk about seeing yourself in there, so I could see myself in that show because of the representation. So then, of course, you know, like a lot of shows, some you know, when they had old boy that played Tommy and Martin. You know, he came on that last season.
Oh yeah,
you probably yeah. That's when it got a little too much.
And I don't name in life. Real life was Tommy.
Was it? Okay. So that's my top 5. I know you all are just chomping at the bit saying there are a bunch of shows we left off.
Empire.
Yeah, Boardwalk. I know a lot of people love Lost. That was on there. And then what's that Family? Oh man, it was an HBO show.
Family.
Oh man. They were in Chicago. Oh man, it was a popular show. It's on. I think you can catch it on Netflix. I mean, it's like let me not even try to remember. But there are a bunch of shows out there. I know Yellowstone.
I left a lot off.
I'm gonna start watching that and some other things. So let us know what you think. This is our 5 for today. We're going to come back. We're going to have to do something else with TV drama.
We're going to do a lot with TV, period, because we like it so much.
Love it so much.
And some music.
Yeah. So check us out every Tuesday, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to your YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. Check it out. Check us out most places you get your podcast. Peace out.
I'm of the models. Here I am. I come. That's where I'm from.